Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am your friend Kumar.
History. What is history? History is the scientific study of past. It is an inquiry, or you may sentence, knowledge acquired by investigation. Historians place the past in context using historical sources, such as written documents, oral accounts, ecological markers, and material objects including art and artifacts. Herodotus, a 5th century BC Greek historian, is often considered to be the father of history because he helped form the foundations for the modern study of human history. Now, benefits of studying history. First one, understanding of past. Through history, we can learn how past societies, systems, ideologies, governments, culture, and technologies were built. The rich history of the world helps us to point a detailed picture. Second one, become inspired. Those historical stories can also serve to inspire individuals to greatness. History remembers brilliant people and their heroic acts. You get a huge amount of motivation from learning about the inspirational events that make up where we are today. Third one, learn from mistakes. The history teaches us the mistakes of mankind. For example, if you study world wars in history, the history explains about the bad effects of war to mankind. It said the war is only thing which destroys human races. There were trade and commerce relations between India and Europe since ancient times. There was a great demand for Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger, etc. India was also importing good breed horses and mercury from European countries. This type of business factor continued even during the Middle Age between European and Asian countries. Here, the Arab merchants carried Asian merchandise into Constantinople of Eastern Roman Empire, or it was called as a Byzantium Empire. Italian merchants would buy these goods and they sell them in European markets. That's why the Constantinople was center of international trade and it was considered as the gateway of European trade. Effect of this, Arab merchants had gained monopoly over the trade in Asian countries, as well as Italian traders had monopoly over the trade in European countries. The next point, the fall of Constantinople, or you may say Constantinople was attacked. The trade and commerce between Asian and European was taking place through the city of Constantinople, but the Ottoman Turks or Turks captured the city of Constantinople in the year 1453. Now onwards, the Ottoman Turks only had sovereign power over all the trade routes which were connecting the city of Constantinople. The Turks started levying too much taxes on the goods which were passing through these routes. As a result of this, now trade became non-profitable. In another side, other European countries like Spain and Portugal were attempting to break the monopoly of Italian traders. They started encouraging enterprising sailors to find a new sea route to India or Asian countries. The invention of compass, astrolabes, and gunpowder were also influenced to find a new sea route indirectly. Next point, a new sea route to India in 1498 AD. Vasco da Gama, he was a Portuguese sailor. He left Lisbon and reached Kappadu place near Calicut on the western coast of India in the year 1498 AD. Thus, he was successful in discovering a new sea route to India. This was the only linkage sea route between India and European country for so many years. In the year 1869, a huge canal called Suez Canal was built in Egypt to connect the Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. This Suez Canal construction was made an important role, that is, after built of the Suez Canal, India to Europe sea route became more easier than early. It means Suez Canal reduced the so many miles of distance almost one half. European trade companies. After the successful entry of Portuguese, so many Europeans visited India as a traders. Respectively, those are Dutch, French, and English or British. This incidents influenced a lot to Indian history as well as European history also. Let's we go to study about European traders who visited our India. The Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first traders who visited India. Another most important thing is that the Portuguese were only traders who left India at last. For our kind information, friends, Goa was free from Portuguese in the year 1961 of 19 December. It means the Portuguese left India after the Indian independence only. That much the Goa was influenced by the Portuguese. Even today or nowadays, you can see Portuguese influence in Goa so many aspects like religion, culture, buildings, tradition, lifestyle, etc. Francisco de Almeida. He was a viceroy of Portuguese. He visited India after the Vasco da Gama. It means Almeida was a second Portuguese person who visited India. Almeida introduced and implemented a policy which was called Blue Water Policy. Now we have to discuss about Blue Water Policy. Blue water policy means establishment of the supremacy over the sea instead of supremacy over land. After Francisco de Almeida, Alfonso de Albuquerque visited our India as a representative of the Portuguese. Alfonso de Albuquerque, who came after Almeida, is considered as the real founder of Portuguese Empire in India. Albuquerque waged a battle against the Adil Shahi Sultan of Bijapur in the year 1510 AD. In this battle, Albuquerque won Goa region. Then onwards, Goa became the administrative center for Portuguese in India. The Portuguese had absolute monopoly over trade with India for almost a century. Finally, Portuguese declined in trade and power in India with the arrival of English and French. The Dutch. Holland or Netherlands is the native of Dutch. The United East India Company was established by Dutch in the year 1602 AD with the aim of doing business with eastern countries like India, Java, Sumatra and Indonesia. In India, the Dutch established their warehouses or you may call godowns in these places. Those are Surat, Broch, Cambe, Cochin, Nagapatnam, Machilipatnam and Chinsur. They also played an important role to break the monopoly of Portuguese in India. Later on, the Dutch became unable to face competition from British and French. Finally, they left India. Thereafter, the Dutch limited their business towards Indonesia only. English. On 31st December 1600, Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with eastern countries for 15 years. Actually, the company started the business formally in the year 1613 AD. The East India Company was also called as John Company. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission to English to establish their first warehouse or factory at Surat. In the year 1617 AD, Sir Thomas Roe arrived at the court of Jahangir as the royal ambassador from the court of James I. Sir Thomas Roe sought permission from Jahangir to establish factories in other places of Mughal Empire. Next onwards, the English established factories at Accra, Ahmedabad and Broch. In the year 1639 AD, the English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort named St. George Fort. Later on, Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay, nowadays we can call it as a Mumbai, on annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company in the year 1668 AD. In 1690 AD or CE, the English purchased three villages, namely Sutanauti, Calcutta and Govindapura on the banks of Hooghly River and built Fort William. By the 17th century, the English had established Bombay, Madras and Calcutta as the centers of their presidencies. By the later part of 18th century, the English made Calcutta as their capital city, they implemented their own civil and criminal procedure codes at there. Fourth one, French. The French East India Company started as a government-owned company in the year 1664. It started its first factory at Surat in the year 1668 AD. Later on, they established its factories in Machilipatnam, Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal, Kasim Bazar, and Balasore. In 1674 AD, the French took Wali Gandapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as a major trade center. Later on, it came to be known as Pondicherry or Puducherry. Pondicherry or Puducherry was the capital city of French until they left India. Dupleix, who appointed as the Governor General of the French in year 1746 AD, he had the high ambitions of establishing the French as a major power in South India. Finally, in India, French and English resorted to show of strength in order to establish their political supremacy over India. Meanwhile, political instability arose in the regions of Hyderabad and Karnataka region, and both the English and French tried to exploit the situation in their favor. This led to three most important Carnatic wars. In those days, eastern part of Tamil Nadu was known as Carnatic area or province. First, we must know what type of a situation was existed in Hyderabad and Karnataka region. Let's we discuss. As you know, eastern part of Tamil Nadu was also called as Karnataka region. Ashaf Jah established Hyderabad kingdom in the year 1724 AD. Karnataka region also comes under control of Ashaf Jah, who was the Nizam of Hyderabad. Or you may say Karnataka region was the feudatory area of Hyderabad Nizam. Dostali, who was ruling Karnataka region, was not loyal to Nizam of Hyderabad. That's why Ashok Jah, who was the ruler of Hyderabad kingdom, had disappointment with Dost Ali. In the year 1740 AD, the Marathas killed Dost Ali and looted Karnataka region and imprisoned Dost Ali's son-in-law Chanda Sahib in Satara. Now Ashok Jah used this situation and he appointed Anwaruddin as the Nawaba of Karnataka region in the place of Dost Ali. This was the real fact of Hyderabad and Karnataka regions before the time of First Karnataka War.